Good day to one and all. Let me start the class. Today I am going to explain you about the types of methods for food analysis. In Central Food Safety Officer and Technical Officer examination, the syllabus pattern will be, we will have two stages, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 part A is general aptitude, where we will have the general intelligence, general awareness, English and the computer. In part B, we will have the Indian and the international food laws, FSSAI role, function, initiatives, food preservations and food chemistry, food microbiology, and the last part is general concepts of food testing. And now we will discuss the last part, food analysis and testing. In this we will have the laboratory sampling with the statistical tools, basic or the classical methods of food analysis, modern analytical techniques including mass spectroscopy and the molecular techniques, and the last one is quality assurance and the quality control. In this now we will explain the basic or the classical methods of food analysis. What is food analysis? Food analysis is nothing but the testing of the food, whether it is good for the human consumption or not. Food examination is done by the physical, chemical and the microbiological way. In physical analysis is done by the observing the texture, color and the appearance. In chemical analysis is they use certain chemicals for food analysis so that we can understand the nutrients, additives and the contaminants present in it. In the microbiological way, it helps in detecting the microorganisms present in it, and we know that they are both good and bad bacteria. If bad bacteria level is high in food, it also affects the human health. Finally, food analysis is very important for maintaining the food safety. Food analysis also helps in food product development, and food analysis will have some rules and regulations what to do and what not to do, and it helps in public health. We feel safe to eat when it is properly analyzed. Nowadays everything is completely contaminated, so that food analysis ensures the food products are both safe and with high quality. AOAC and AACC internationals, these are the organizations, they give the standardized methods for food analysis. AOAC is the Association of the Official Analytical Collaboration and AACC is the American Association of the Cereal Chemists, and they are accurate and reliable in providing the composition, quality and the safety of the food product. Composition means presence of the carbohydrates, fats, nutrients, fiber content, water and the minerals. AOAC develops analytical methods for the analysis of the food. They publish these methods how they do in the official methods of analysis of AOAC. They provide the detailed information of analysis of the food, including the nutrient content, contaminants and additives and the more. AACC, it is formerly called AACC, now it is called as Cereals and Grains Association. It analyzes the grains and the grain based products. These methods helps in research, quality methods and product development of the cereals and grain. Now we will see the types of methods for food analysis. In the types of methods of food analysis, we have the three classifications: subjective, objective and others. In subjective, we have the organoleptic classification. In objective, we will have the physical, chemical, microscopic and the microbiological. In chemical, we will have the subgroups, that is the classical and the instrumental classification. In others, we will have the biological and the nutritional questionnaire. In our syllabus, we have the overview of classical or the basic methods of food analysis. In this, we have the analysis of water, ash, protein, lipid, carbohydrate, dietary fiber, alcohol, pH and acidity. We will discuss this in later video in detail. Now we are going to explain the subjective, objective and other methods in brief. What is subjective classification? Subjective classification primarily depends upon the human senses and the personal judgment, but these are not accurate. These changes from the person to person. They are difficult to quantify with the instrument and difficult to understand the consumer preferences and the product quality. What is sensory evaluation? Sensory evaluation is the organoleptic methods. Sensory evaluation involves the trained panels or the consumer groups to access the sensory characteristics of the food product. These includes appearance, odor, taste, texture and the sound. By appearance, they evaluate by seeing the color, shape and size. They evaluate the food is good or bad. Odor. Odor is smell of the food. If the food is ripened, we get the sweet smell. If it is spoiled, we get the odd smell. And the taste. Taste is the sweetness, sourness, bitterness, saltiness, and umami. Umami is the hinge or the meaty flavor, and texture is the crispiness, juiciness, chewiness, and the smoothness of the food. By seeing that, we can understand the texture. And the sound. When we eat anything, we get the crackle sound or the crunchiness. We can say that the food is very good. What is consumer testing? Consumer testing gathers feedback from a target group of consumers to evaluate their preferences and the acceptance of the product. There are three methods. Hedonic rating scales. In this, the consumers like or dislike the product on a scale, example 1 to 9, and the preference test. Consumer choose between different products to indicate which they prefer, and the acceptance test evaluates how acceptable a product is to the consumers, often using scales and the questionnaires. Questionnaires means it's like a survey, a set of printed or the written questions which are given to the consumers, and they rate and they accept the food product. This is the questionnaire method. This is hedonic rating scale. If we dislike the food extremely, then we'll mark it as 1. If we like the food product extremely, then we'll mark it as 9. What is R index? R index is one class of measure of degree of differences or similarities between the two samples. For example, if R index value is 1, then it indicates the paired samples are easily distinguishable. One is good food and other is the bad food. If R index value is 0.5, then the paired samples are extremely difficult to discriminate. Both foods taste is the same and we can't distinguish between them. Rating can also be done by filling the colors. Each color indicates the specific character. Ties are not allowed means if we like two sample foods, with preference we should not give same ranking. We should precisely select the best option one by one and rate them. Ties are not allowed. Now we will see the preference test of fruit yogurt. According to them, they give the name, tester number, date and section code. See here, rank the samples from the most preferred to the least preferred. Most preferred number is 1 and the least preferred number is 5. These all samples are regarding to the fruit yogurt, but the preparation method will be different. If you like extremely this sample 589, then you should number it as 1. If you dislike extremely this one, you have to number it as 5. This is called the preference test. Now coming to the acceptability test. This acceptability test is the overall opinion of the product over the 3 months or 5 months. For example, this braised means braising is the combination cooking method that uses both wet and dry heats. The food is first browned at high temperature, then simmered in the liquid. It is similar to the stewing process but with lesser liquid amount. Usually used for the large cuts of meat. See here, in the last 3 months, about how often you have eaten. How often you have eaten the braised track? Less than once a month, more or once a month, but less than every week, once a week or month. Here you have to rinse the mouth. This is common before every test, and check the phrase to indicate your overall opinion of the product. See sample number 387. If you like the product more, so that you have to keep it as like extremely. If you dislike it, the last one. Next is the descriptive sensory analysis. It involves the highly trained panelists who describes the sensory attributes. Attributes is the quality or the characteristics of the food product. In this, we will see the flavor profile analysis. It gives the detailed description of the flavor components and the intensity. What is the flavor components of the apple? That is ester. That a fruity smell that we get because of the ester. And the texture profile analysis gives the detailed description of the textural attributes and their intensity. The intensity also we can know because of this analysis process. See, various instruments are present in order to check the intensity of the food, like biting, cutting, stretching, chewing and squeezing. Now coming to the difference testing. Different testing method determine whether they are Perceivable differences between the food sample. Perceivable means observable differences between the food sample. There are three methods: triangle test method, Diotrio test method, pair comparison test method. In triangle test method, panelists are given the three samples, two identical samples, one is different, and they asked to find the odd one out. Diotrio test methods, panelists are given the reference sample and two test samples, one which matches with the reference. And paired comparison test, panelists compare two samples and indicate which one have the specific attribute more intensity. See, this is the triangle test. They gave the three samples and the instructions are: take sample from the left to right. Two are identical samples, one is the odd sample, and these are the three samples. We have to find the odd sample and we have to name it here, and if any comments are present we have to write here. Now coming to the Diotrio method, you have received three tomatoes. One of the tomato is the reference sample R, and taste R first, then taste the two coded tomatoes. Then circle the code of tomatoes which is more similar to R. If you find 556 tomato code is similar to the reference code, then you have to circle the code. Next is paired comparison test. In this we see the character which is highly intensive. Circle the samples which is higher in sweetness. These are the wine bottles. They give to 5 or 6 members. We have to find the which is more intensive, which is more sweetness. They found this is more intensive, they circled this. Next is the qualitative descriptive analysis. It involves a trained panelist uses specific vocabulary to describe the sensory attributes of the product. Each attribute is rated on the scale. They provide the detailed sensory profile. They use the scale. I will show the scale weight. This is the scaling method. We can see the broad line is related to the puffed snack 1, snack 2, snack 3. Three different snacks are present, and this is the target product. And we can see the length, thickness. There is the difference in the scale. In this way, they show the differences in the food products. Smoothness of the surface, yellow body, orange flavors, quantity of flavors, potato flavor, how much intensity is present in the food, crispness, sweetness, hotness, saltiness, hardness. They show everything in a scale method. This is QDA in the food analysis.